everyone, this is Dawn and welcome back to my channel. So I am coming back to make another ATC, maybe a couple of them, and this is in collaboration with Handi Scandi, and I will leave her channel linked in the description box below. This is for the hashtag ATCs in April of 2025. So I've been trying to make an ATC for each day, and sometimes I've had to do it a few at a time. Anyways, trying to make a few ATCs each day in the month of April. So these are what I've come up with so far, and I've really enjoyed this little process. So tonight I've got, I think this is a simple vintage pad, and this was just a scrap sitting on the side of my desk. And then I had this little ephemera, a little teacup that was kind of sitting on it together. And it also has a little bit of a yellow floral up here as well. And I thought those kind of went cute together. So we're going to go ahead and cut down the base of our artist trading card, which is 3.5 by 2.5 inches. So I am going to cut this 3.5 inches long. And then I'm going to trim off more of this side because I want more of the floral. And we're going to do about 2.5 inches. Oh, we're going to get just a little bit of that bee down here. So this is going to be the base of our card. And then I'm going to go ahead and, of course, ink it up with a little vintage photo. I think this ephemera, I think, is Tim Holtz. And I'm going to add some vintage photo to our little teacup as well. Oh, that's really, really cute. And then I also had this little piece of ephemera sitting around, also Tim Holtz. Add a little bit of ink to that. And what I thought, I wanted something coming out the top of the teacup. And I think what I'm going to do here is just kind of cut a little bit of a line on this lip of the teacup so that I can put the floral through it. Hopefully this is cutting through. I think that's going to work very nicely. All right, I got a little white showing through, so we're going to add a little more of that. And I thought I would just trim off maybe the top of this just to have that little bit of floral coming out the top of the teacup. Let's try it about there, just to give it a little extra something. Oh yeah, I think that's going to work nicely. Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and attach our little teacup. All right, and then I've got a couple of word stickers here, and I thought I would go with this beautiful day. I think this is the Tim Holtz metallic words. All right, let's add some glue to the back of that because that is not going to stay. Okay. And then last but not least, I have some little foil butterflies. Oh, this little portion here says heavy cream on the back of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and add this. Add this little butterfly over here. And then last but not least, we need some tiny pearls. Okay, I'm going to take these very itty bitty ones. That's what we're going to do. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's set this aside and add our tiny little pearls right into the center of our butterfly. That'll mimic its little body and head. All right, and then I think maybe last but not least, let's go ahead and add some of our little speckle stamp, my really old Stampin' Up! Little speckles. I think it just needs a little bit of something. All right, so this is our ATC for today. All right, so we're ready to make our second ATC, and I'm going to use these 49 and Market Inkwell acetate leaves, and they're in these beautiful royal blue colors and watercolory looking, and they are transparent, so they're probably going to show through my paper a little bit and maybe take on some different coloring. Let me set these aside. And I decided to go ahead, or I picked out the couple of butterflies that I'm going to use. And the background papers I'm going to use, this page is from this Honeybee Stamps Team Tie-Dye. And then this orange piece is from this Prima Painted Floral. It has this really striking bold floral. And I just had a scrap of it sitting around, and I saw the orange stripe, and I was like, well, that looks really pretty. With the blue. So I decided I'm going to make two with the butterflies. So why not? Oop, got a random butterfly floating around over here. So I think, let's see, I have not cut down my papers yet. So I'm going to take, I got this tumbled glass distress ink, and I'm going to ink up the edges. Isn't that so pretty? I just love this soft watercolor look. I've always just used cut up artist sponges a lot for my inking. I do have some of the Tim Holtz the sponges, but I always gravitate towards my art sponges. I think I learned that way actually from years ago, coming up through Stampin' Up. That's how I learned, got into paper crafting, I should say. And then I'm going to use the dried marigold on the orange piece. I was debating if I wanted to do blue to bring out the butterflies, but I thought I'd go a little more monochromatic. I don't know, we'll see. I'm going to use some enamel dots, I think, as well. And then I think these are both going to be calling for our little speckly stamp. So I'm definitely going to add some of that. Oh yeah, it really pops on the orange. Okay, that's enough speckles, I think. All right, and then we're going to bring in this butterfly and this butterfly. And then this one and this one. These are just fun and happy. And then I've got, of course, some word stickers. I've got with brave wings she flies, and maybe this one's kind of a longer strip. Maybe I put that one in the middle of these two butterflies. Pretty. And then this one here, I've got use your wings. Use your wings. You know what? Maybe I want to do the same. Keep them about in the middle. Okay, let us... I'm just adding glue to the center, and I might need to trim off a little bit of this. Okay, and then I really like this one a lot with the watercolor look. Oh no, a little fly guy floating around here. Goodbye. Okay. Got that little smudge. I can see it on the acetate. Okay, and then let's affix these butterflies. These are just so pretty. Now this one from the yellow underneath is turning a little green, and that's okay. I knew it was going to change colors. And then I was thinking, of course, I've got enamel dots. These are the matte. I thought I'd use the shinier ones, but something about these matte ones. Maybe I'll put the matte on the blue. Okay, maybe we will do a smaller. I'm gonna say, do I want one up there? But I feel like that is plenty on that one. And then here, you know what? I really like this one too. Let's see if we like this. Let's see if we like the matte. Oh, that is awfully pretty. Okay, I think we'll go with it. All right, very pretty. So I think we're gonna call these two done. All right, so here we are for our next ATC. And this is just another scrap that I found sitting over on the side of my desk. One of these wonderful collage backgrounds. I'm not sure what paper line this is from. And I was looking at this area, and I was looking at a lot of the smaller Tim Holtz dolls where, you know, they're in a sitting position. One of my favorites was these two men and the dog. But then I found these flowers, and I wanted to incorporate these. Let me move them. There's this one, which is a Tim Holtz piece, which really goes pretty. But I think I'm going to end up using this one. And then finally, I found this lady, and she's a lot longer, and then we'll probably, maybe she's just a girl, but we'll probably trim her off. But I liked that she had the florals on her shoulder, and I think possibly some in her hair. Her arm is kind of up to mimic going across this little area. So finally I landed on her. So I'm gonna scooch. I really liked this young lady too, where she's got her little curtsy, cute little dress. All right, but we're gonna move these guys aside, and let's go ahead and trim down our ATC to 2.5 by 3.5 inches. So 2.5 this way, and then 3.5 inches here. All right, that's a great looking ATC. I really like this background a lot. And for this one here, I'm going to ink up in the vintage photo. So I'm brown these up a little bit. All right. Oh, you know what? Let's do our young lady here. Give her a little more dimension. And then there's a little hole here, so I'm going to add a little bit more there. And then I think I'm definitely going to use this floral. So let's go ahead and add some ink onto this one too, which obviously is going to get trimmed down. Okay, so set this aside. All right, let's kind of see how I want this to be. Then her arm can lay across this bottom area. And I think I'm also going to add some of our speckles. My trusty stamp. Sometimes I just use the edge of this. Okay, perfect. All right, let's set you aside. And then I think I really don't want to move this because I like where I've got it. So let's go ahead and add our glue. Let's try that. Perfect. Okay, let's go ahead and trim off this edge. Let's grab some scissors. I think this is a really pretty floral. Okay. And then let's just trim across the top. Oh, very pretty. And then I'm going to add a little more ink along this background. The trimmed edge, I should say. Okay. Oh, I like that. And then we're going to go ahead and place her. Okay, let's put her in place. I think she's really lovely. Perfect. All right, let's trim the edge of her off. All right, let's add a little more glue on the bottom here. And then let's add a little more ink. All right, and I think last but not least, I've got some pearls sitting on the side, and I think these are Paper Studio ones. Just to pop these up over here. Oh, super cute. And I think, you know what? I have a few gold butterflies up top here. Maybe we want to add a little gold butterfly. We've got a little butterfly theme happening. I think we have a butterfly on everything. And then maybe, uh-oh. I'll see, where'd you go, little butterfly? Maybe right about there. And then I've got some teeny tiny little beads. Oh, there's a random enamel dot. Teeny tiny little pearls, I should say. I think I'm going to open these up and add one to the center of our little butterfly here. Oh yeah, and then that brings the pearl over. These might be a little bit of a creamier color, but all right, so these are the ATCs. That catches me up a little bit. I think I've lost count a little bit. So super cute. I've actually had to think about what I've been going to do for the next one. I have no clue. And of course I did 2 of these butterflies because I loved both of these background papers. I really like those. And then our wonderful teacup as well. So these are both a little more vintage. These are a little more modern. All right, guys, thanks so much for stopping by. I would love it if you give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. Make sure to check out Handi Scandi's channel. And I will see you in the next one.